Hi everybody, it's Laura from McNeely Garden Studios and I want to welcome you to the Create-a-thon. I'm so glad that you're here. Um, who saw the two before me, Jamie and Terry? Weren't they great? I mean, I couldn't believe it. It's amazing. Every time that we do this, we've got 7 artists and everybody does such totally different things and they're all great. So anyway, I did want to give you some housekeeping things. When you get into this video, hey Cheryl, give me a heart or a like or something so that I can see that you are here. And if you come by later and watch as a replay, just give me hashtag replay so I can know, okay? But what we're going to be doing today is pretty interesting. Hey Shannon, it's all about a creative reset. And of course, we're all coming out of winter and everybody's got the blues. And sometimes it's really hard. You just get like in a funk. You get a block and you want to be creative. You want to be freer. And sometimes you just have no idea how to do that. And I'm going to teach you how to do that today. So it's for when you feel really stuck, overwhelmed, disconnected, that you can do this type of art. And I have a bonus for you later that will tie into it that you are going to want because it's a game changer. It's amazing. So, all right, so we're going to be doing this, which is it's sort of my version of neurographic art. It's really free and colorful, and if you have already looked at my guide, which is number 3, you can find in the supply list a video that explains what all you will need. Let me turn that, turn that off. And it will explain some of the things that I'm not going to go into and take any time doing that. So I want to get right into it. All right, we're going to turn all the way down here. I'm only seeing, hello, Renee. I'm not seeing any comments, but I'm seeing who's watching. So this project to me is sometimes I just do it. Sometimes I just do it to relax and to kind of get in the flow. To me, it's all, the whole process has a function. I'm going to stick this over here so it's out of the way. But even taping my watercolor paper down to my little plastic cutting board here, to me, that's like, it represents possibility. Anything could happen on this page. So that's the first art. And like I said, this is watercolor paper, so we're going to be doing a wet on wet style. I also included some of the supplies needed. This is a canvas, a 7x14 canvas if you want to do it there. And you can do it with acrylic paints. I still, no matter what, used the Posca pen, which is an acrylic pen. To me, it just makes it really simple to do. But you could do it with a liner brush. You could do it with anything. So we're going to jump right in this. And this is just my little spritzer spray bottle. And I'm going to wet this whole thing here. I already have something on there. And this has really fine mist, so that looked like a lot of water, but it's really not. So, and I have this really large brush that I like to kind of work the water into the paper with. You don't want to change the integrity of the paper, and it's pretty easy to do, but just gently doing this is going to prepare it nicely to accept the watercolor. Now this is when you get to choose I mean, even this is therapeutic, just getting your palette ready. But now you get to choose what color palette you're going to use. And of course, this one I referred to in the notes as green, and this one I referred to as pink. And so I figured that we would do something entirely different as we're getting ready. So, you know, preparing the background to me is the magic. We're just going to start with watercolor, and as you start putting it, laying in your color, it all starts to blend together. And you want to choose either a warm palette or cool palette. Since I had done the other, I'm doing the cool this time. And you want it to just be willy-nilly all over the place. I prepared some, but I didn't prepare enough. And when we get, when we start adding other colors, look at as they begin to blend. They begin to start blending. And if you pay attention and see how it's moving, it's almost just hypnotic, I would say. And of course, what goes down here is not necessarily what you end up with, which also, you know, Jamie talked about the power of what if, and that's a tremendous thing. I mean, you can just talk yourself through so much if you just start asking, what if? Look how beautiful this is beginning to bloom here. So I like to get this whole thing just kind of all different places. It ends up becoming very cohesive. And if you want to make it go spread a little bit more, you can always spray it a little bit more. It just kind of gives the pigment a place to go. And you see that? I ended up with some dots. You can actually make it move around. And even that is just so magical. It's just so beautiful. So the taping represents the possibilities, and the background is the magic. And when we start to doodle, which I'm going to just put this to the side, I prepared different ones, different stages, so that you wouldn't have to sit and wait. But this is really, it's all dry. It dried overnight. And because it's watercolor paper, you don't have to do this step, but it really helps when you start adding the Posca pens. But I use clear gesso to seal my paper because not only does it have sort of a tooth to it, but it also, watercolor paper will just keep sucking pigment into it. So, hello Retta, hey Tony. So, I did offer a tracer for this, but I think the whole point is to reset your mind. So, I'm going to use black. So you could use the tracer, but I would just kind of look at it and sort of go with the flow, because this is all about neurographic art, which is resetting your creative mind. Neurographic art was designed by a Russian psychologist, Pavel, and I always mess up his last name, Piskarev, I think it is, Piskarev. So we're just going to kind of start. And the whole idea of neurographic art is you come up with free-forming lines And after you, or designs, and then you begin to round off the centers, round off the pointy parts, and add color. But like I said, this is sort of my take on it. And so I like to put the color down first, because this way there's no planning. You get rid of the perfectionism. It doesn't matter what's going to show and what's not. You just need to engage your mind, engage the creative side of your mind. The science behind all this is that you tap into your creative side, which is you turn off the amygdala, which is the fight or flight, and you just start to relax. You just start to see possibilities. Don't feel like you have to cover every single space, because we're going to color in these dark spaces, and you're going to use that area to doodle in as well. So you notice your brain just starts to calm down. Less stress, less anxiety, more feeling of well-being. There we go. And as you begin to focus on this process, you get rid of that perfectionism, and you start thinking about, you don't focus on the end game, which is very relaxing. And you don't have to worry about where it's going, and it's very relaxing. That leaves you receptive to the process your emotions. So, which is the whole thing. If you're feeling all the emotions that we were talking about earlier, then sometimes it's very therapeutic. I'm going to put some round dots in here too, because I don't want it to all be dark. That's one thing you have to kind of think through. And so then we're going to begin to fill in all these dark places. And true neurographic art is like rounding off the pointed parts, whereas my style is just filling in some of these places. Now, I am not going to make you sit and watch me color all this. I just happen to have another one. So you begin to, with the doodling, it really helps to let your mind wander and let your brain begin to sort things out that you hadn't even thought of. I already did. So these are, just so you know, these are earth tone Posca pens, which I just got, and I haven't used them a whole lot, but I really do like them. This happens to be the olive. It almost looks black, but up close it looks pretty olive. So this is the fun part, where you just begin to do whatever. You just begin to doodle. And I happen to have my leopard on today, but I do like that design, and it's just two little C's, two little C's, two little C's together. And you just start to begin to make a design. And you don't have to think about it. Just get in there and relax. So what they found about neurographic art is that your brain is an amazing thing. It really is. But this type of thing actually helps you reconnect some of the neuron pathways in your brain. And how incredible is that, right? That you can actually heal your brain from the outside in by doing some doodling. It just, sometimes your mind just needs a break from the world. And this is a good way to do it. Sometimes things come out of this that you didn't even realize. Like sometimes you'll just start doing designs. Like I'm really enjoying these stripes here. I did not plan on doing that. But sometimes you just find out that that's soothing you today. You don't have to stay in the line. I did that on purpose. You can come out of the line. You can actually create empty ones. Let's see. We'll put one right here that, didn't have color in it, right? I think I'll do this one with the lines. There we go. Just any kind of doodling that you want. And we'll come back to that in just a moment. But I just wanted to tell you about the free bonus that I have is 5-minute creative reset. And between what's in this booklet, it's 5 steps, 1 minute each. Between this and this style of art, you will have an arsenal of strategies to help you get out of the funk. It's just so important for you to keep moving on and getting out of that. This is navy blue. It's going to show up good, I think. But I would love for you to come see me on Tuesdays at 10, and that's a.m. Eastern Time. And you will find out that this is kind of my format. This is the way I operate. I like to do art, and I like to teach life lessons and give you a reason why to do the things that you do. And so that's the format that I use in my lives and also in my membership. And so it's just, I love learning. I just love learning. And I don't think I'll ever stop learning. I'm always researching. I'm always looking for things to answer my questions. I have burning questions. In fact, when I was a teenager, of course we didn't have the internet, right? But I had so many questions, and my mother had a Funk and Wagnall encyclopedia. I actually think she still has it. But in fact, I would use that as a resource for some of my reports, and it was such an obscure title that even my teachers were like, I don't think this is even real. But anyway, I would come home with a pocket full of questions of things that I thought of during the day that I didn't find anybody that knew the answer. And so I was going to go home and check it out in that Funkin' Wagnall encyclopedia. It may not have been the most update or the most, clear, but I learned a lot of things, and it was simply by being curious. So it's just one of those things. I think, how about we use, I don't know if this yellow is going to work. I know this yellow will work great on the dark part. And this is why you put the clear gesso, so that it won't sink in. That looks great. So will you be doing this on watercolor paper or on the canvas? I'll show you the canvas roll. See how it's like 7 by 14, and I carried the design onto the side. It turned out really good. I mean, I really enjoyed this one. So I wanted to show you that you could do it, a couple different ways. And if you do it on paper, you're less committed. And I think it would be more relaxing if you just do it on something that it doesn't matter. That's just my personal opinion, but who knows? So. Do you find that you go back to a certain design all the time? I seem to do a lot of swirls, a lot of dots. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do here with this one. This is a lighter olive. Let's see about this one. This looks very similar to the one I used for the background. So we do have a wonderful surprise for you. If you do your project, whatever project you want, and you put it in the post your project, put your version there, you're getting the possibility to be able to be chosen for a $5 gift card. If you do all 7 of our projects, I'm going to bring you back up here. If you do all 7 by, so the one is the 18th, and then if you do all 7, you have Easter weekend to do it, and post it by Monday, and we'll be drawing a winner for a $25 gift card. Isn't that exciting? So I hope that you learned how to get a creative reset. You have lots of tools now, lots of things to do. Loretta or Cheryl's coming up next. I think they switched, but I'm not sure. They're both doing fantastic programs. Cheryl's going to be doing an inspirational bookmark set, and Loretta's doing a cute little love bunny. So you're going to be really in for something fun with both of them, whichever one they decided to go next. Okay? I think that's all I think that's it. So thanks for coming by. Come see me on Tuesday at 10 at McNeely Garden Studios, and I hope you enjoyed. Go get your 5-minute creative reset booklet in my free bonus in guide number 3. Okay? So hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks for coming. Bye.